Welcome back. It is the start of a new best of 5 TVZ. In the bottom left on Defender's Landing, it is the blue Zerg Impact.
Yeah, his opponent, so you guys explain sec, top right, going to be the red Terran INnoVation, having just defeated Sue leading into this match. But Terminator, big round of applause. Give him some love in chat if you see him, guys. He donated $50 with a meme. One does not simply walk into an overcharge, as he gives everybody in the channel 3 crushes. Now, you might not know what crush does, but it's a pretty annoying command that can possibly make everybody hate each other.
Okay.
It prevents, basically, if you guys use crush on somebody for 1 minute, they can't talk in chat. They're basically timed out for 1 minute in chat.
Oh, that's what I think Terminator did to me once. And I told him I timed him out.
Yeah, to be clear, you can't use it on mods because the bot can't time out other mods, but to the plebs in chat, you can mute somebody for 1 minute. So, everybody, fuck, he just gave like 2,000 people 3 crushes that they can use at any time. That doesn't expire like at the end of stream today. So, good luck, guys. You're gonna annoy some people here for a minute at a time.
Amazing. Well, it is Defender's Landing.
I'm gonna use mine on Terminator.
More power to you. It is Defender's Landing, and I think that it's just at this point in time, I feel like there was, a chance that just it would be a normal hatchery gas pool. No, every single time I've seen a Zerg on this map, it's always been that pool gas pool, whatever matchup. Well, I guess not ZvP. The point is ZvT and ZvZ for sure. And if INnoVation doesn't expect this and loses his SCV to 2 lings, then that's totally on him. But it's always a trick, isn't it? Because if you do just keep the Reaper at home, maybe they're going for a Roach Rush, and that's you're just extra screwed if that's the case. So you should see the delayed hatchery and pull back immediately. There you go.
I think the risk of losing this SCV is absolutely worth the chance that you scout that Roach Warren, or the timing, rather.
Yeah,
that SCV kind of sucks. That shouldn't have died. That's unfortunate. That was RNG not playing well with INnoVation.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the laziest next SCV a little bit. But the Reaper comes back, the other SCV gets on the command center, and it's not too much harm done because specifically it is not a follow-up of roaches. That's like the biggest problem is when this Reaper decides to go back and is like slammed to the face with Ravagers, and then it's a snowball effect from there. But this was really just an attempt to get the SCV killed and delayed, and it certainly worked. No.
No way.
Okay.
Oh my god, he gets it!
Heavy delay in that command center now.
Impact confirmed a literal god. Ooh. This actually is so annoying for INnoVation because it doesn't quite supply block him, but almost.
Right? So you can see he's even compensating just by not building anything for like a second. It's kind of cool. But it is going to be Hellion Banshee. It is a very safe opener, so even though it doesn't give you I guess the most confidence initially, again, if it was a Roach push, Hellions aren't that useful. The Banshee will certainly keep you alive and safe, if not better off, at least alive. There is Roaches. And Impact eventually gets that Roach Warren. Lair on the way, too. Third base just started, really. Did he scout? I mean, his lane got up there a couple of times. Actually, there's an overload right here. I think he's scouted.
Well, he scouted, but did he see it?
Yeah, I really hope that he did. And it is such an expected thing from INnoVation. He did it both times in series versus Sue and here in the first game versus Impact. Of course, this freebie oval or not so free as the Marines do pop out and chase it down. That definitely was just an overstayed welcome. Impact could have saved that without much harm done. I mean, I guess if he really thought that an armory was needed to be scouted, then that makes sense. But I don't think it needs to be. Even if it was an armory, which it's not. He has roaches, he has queens. I think the reaction is fast enough. But, oh well. Overlord died, Banshee pushed back initially. No Spore Crawler here, but an Overseer.
God, I get admin alerts on Twitch when somebody gets timed out, so as these guys start crushing each other, it's spamming me a bit.
Ooh. Harsh.
Harsh indeed, but that's the life we live. Terminator gives everyone mugs and like robs and crushes. Like, he's the evil guy, really.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he's also the bit boss of that donation too. Shit.
The bit boss is working.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Yeah, right. Just so it won't capture
Get wrecked,
the window.
nerd.
Yeah, get wrecked. So, the Hellions are very insistent upon finding the little pockets of lings that counter. I liked that. They went really far out, but they weren't doing much else. They're probably not going to get into the mineral line to kill drones, and they're not going to kill creep spread. Not in 7 years on StarCraft 2. So, might as well just try.
Well, how's it feel to be wrong, Zombie Grub?
It's not creep spread, man. You can get drone
No,
kills.
Like I say, they get to the mineral line. This is more than a couple of kills. This is 13. That's not too shabby.
That's really good.
14.
Yeah. There's no way Hellions will get creep spread ever again in StarCraft 2. It's just never gonna happen.
Just change creep tumors to light. Why are they armored anyways? Makes no sense.
But that was a really nice attack. Just there were roaches ready to intercept a handful of Hellions, just on the wrong side. And that was certainly worth the Hellions. INnoVation transfers over into Bio, has Stim already done, Combat Shield's on the way. Third CC being landed as the macro goes.
Well, boosting on out. He's pretty satisfied with the damage he got earlier, but he's looking for more, and he's going to do it through Marines this time. Interestingly, no Widowmine production whatsoever, too.
Yeah, well, he knows it's
Straight to
roaches,
tanks.
so tanks.
Well,
An option.
I think the things are the better option for sure. It's just, I'd say, like, I don't know, a drop like this, I'd imagine one Widowmine something, maybe just to plop off, right? But not a big deal. The key thing here is tanks for the roaches.
Yeah. A small number of roaches can be taken on by these units for sure. But this is definitely enough roaches. I thought... Oh, it was contaminated. Yeah, okay, very cool. Was an armor a little bit delayed. Impact will be eating up his upgrades. Already a second factory. This is something that INnoVation did pretty quickly versus Sue as well. This might even be a little bit quicker. The double tank production usually pretty expensive. But it's fully saturated. 65 SCVs, both gas geysers. Macro looking good. And by the time he's ready to push, he'll have like 6 tanks, and that'll be very difficult to push back.
Banshees were just picked off in the main too, by the way, so now those are out of play.
What's he got much? Like 6 extra drone kills, I guess, on top of the 13.
Really nothing phenomenal, and this is a bit of a problem because Impact's actually playing roaches the way you're supposed to, and that's with like a dominant supply lead. Like, he's double the army supply, and that's not just for show. That's actually a lot of freaking roaches. He's up to 42. Tanks are great, though. We'll see if this splash damage plus bonus damage can deal with this. But this is a scary amount. The Ravagers coming in, too. Those can cross about the tanks, so those are going to go down. Like, these have to kill a lot of roaches before they die, because the tanks are going to die.
Luckily, they are quite spread out and even using high ground here, so it looks like it's going to be held.
Yeah, Impact didn't actually need to fight that ramp. He could have gone left after sniping off those first 2 tanks. He does so now, realizing he's got the opportunity, but he keeps being baited back towards the tank fire. I gotta say, INnoVation's playing this very well, but Impact's also making some very silly mistakes here.
Yeah, if he had sniped the first 2 and just immediately moved on up, that's probably a lifted CC and a few more SCVs. Maybe
Plus 2
a little,
depots.
that's a good point. Maybe a little distracted because there was that drop clearing up creep. Just went back there 1 second, realized he was being pulled into tanks. And the other issue is not just that he didn't manage to stall the economy of INnoVation, is that he didn't really tear down the tank count that much, and with such fast double production of tanks too. Already back up to 5. Impact's gonna have to think about bigger and better units soon enough, usually infestors, but in this game, Lings and Banelings. I don't know. It is still gonna be like, that overwhelming numbers game, so it might just work out, but high numbers of tanks help out against pretty much everything, except, mutas, I guess. Then you're just trying to protect them all the time, and it can be difficult, but the Banelings, they might get a couple of nice hits. I think more likely are going to be taken out by 1 or 2 of these tanks. There's so many of them. There was an invitation, but just no infestors, so he is on his way to Hive. Finishing up his 2-1 as INnoVation's 2-2-1. is already done, and of course CC on the way. He should be feeling pretty confident, and yeah, I was gonna say should be scanning the main to see if Impact's really dedicating to this pressure, or is just now as almost like a front as he gets to Hive. And when he scouts it, he'd already picked up his medevacs. He's gonna go for kind of a big old doom drop. Scouted by a Ling though. Impact's map presence a lot better here than INnoVation's. Or, I mean, I'm pretty sure that saw it, but didn't actually respond to it.
Oh god, the medevacs aren't unloading, so there's 3 spore crawlers, 2 queens, and the medevacs are all dead on arrival pretty much. He lost 1 full cargo, and that really sucks.
I think Impact thought that was going to be such a, like, turn-around type defense. And it looks like he's still going to be able to get this dealt with without too many losses. Just barely the medevacs alive to get those units out there.
INnoVation is also around just long enough to see the Hive complete, so it's no longer a question of like, oh, did I get there like as it just started? No, the Ultros Cavern is going to be coming down immediately. He's got to know this too. So 8 Marines in production right now. I'm not sure that's going to keep up. He's going to need to start thinking about Marauders. I like the double tanks, but tanks versus Ultras is still kind of questionable.
He might be able to push before plating is even close to being done here. Like, this is a very fearsome army, even if it's the supplies are very similar. Tanks well spread out. Just awkward engagement, some high ground, some low ground, some over there, some over here. But that's not all of INnoVation's army. The rest of his bio is coming forward to protect his tanks, and they lived. 3 of them lived. Name back just GG's.
All right, that didn't start out to be such an impressive game from INnoVation, but nice finish.
Yeah, I think his macro was really quite solid. It's always hallmark of INnoVation. And I'm also really liking this faster factory. If he can get away with it, if his build ends up being crisp, there's no like interruptions with a Ling Flood or a Roach Ravager attack, it seems like he can afford that second factory quite quickly. The next map's going to be Ascension. As it is loser's pick, so Impact chooses.
Cool. Oh, so by the way, I know I've been on my Pokemon Go kick recently. Did you happen to see the clip I tweeted out yesterday?
No.
So I brought this up because I was asking one of the guys in chat if they play. Normally, like, I've even been streaming myself playing Pokemon Go, right? And I don't really run into any other people playing. But man, yesterday I did like my first tier 4 raid at the gym, and there was hell of people there. Like, I walk up to the where the gym is, and there's like this cluster of like 18 to 20 people, and they're all huddled over their phones. I'm like, oh shit, this must be tough. Like, it's a tier 4 raid, right? Like, damn.
Cool.
So I took a quick like video selfie of like the area so people could see how many people were hanging about playing. It was really cool. I have not seen or met that many people playing Pokemon Go since its like launch. And even then, I only met like I think 5 people in a park once. So that was like my max.
I would see 1 or 2 people walking around clearly on their phones, but I've never had like that big old gathering. Like, there was that video that was in New York, and there was a dragon in it or something, and like people were just like running on the like through the streets.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I see this. Yeah, someone like shouts, "There's a Vaporeon!" and then everyone like sprints in that direction and stuff.
It was some really cool Pokemon, but everyone just sprinted to the area. That was the closest it would ever get to the commercials that they had, where it was like Times Square and everyone was like
oh god,
really into it.
I always think about the commercials they had for it initially, and it's like, oh, look at that Pokemon tracker. That must be nice to have.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Pokemon Go aside, it's game number 2 in a best of 5, and in the bottom right, taking that last game, it is INnoVation.
A good start for this guy. Top left, gonna be the blue Zerg player, Impact, who is on Dead Pixels, by the way.
That's true. INnoVation's still teamless. A lot of these big names, oddly enough, the ones that are teamless. Whereas I would say, like, Impact, even after winning the VSL, still kind of a smaller name. When big names include INnoVation, Zest, and I guess at one time TY, not anymore.
So it's heartbreaking to say, but it's kind of hard to see how teams get value out of StarCraft anymore. And it's not because the players aren't deserving, it's just the tournament scene and the support for it. Like, ignoring what Pro League was for Korea, even in the foreign scene, like, it's like, why have a team? What does this get you? The
cool points.
Viewership on the big premier tournaments isn't what it used to be. The cost of sending somebody out to a tournament probably just isn't worth it. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. As we've gotten our own sponsored events though, and I guess sponsored player, We did it
2
purely for
players.
cool points. Yeah, that was just for cool points. But the other things, I'm like starting to get a better grasp of what the actual expectations are. Because I would also say, like, you know, 100,000 numbers, why is it ever worth it? I was actually thinking about this, I think, when I was watching SSL yesterday. Just like, wow, Jin Air is supporting this. And I know that has something to do with just how many people are higher ups that are still fanboys and fangirls of StarCraft. But I think it's not as severe as I once thought. I really thought it had to be, like, huge numbers, you know? I guess it's just not actually the case.
Well, for some teams too, like, I can't go into details of who does what, but for some it would be like, hey, yeah, we'll give you a salary and we're gonna pay for your flights and stuff, but if you win prize money, we get like 40% of it to cover the cost of like all these, the risk we've been taking supporting you and all this.
Yeah.
So, like, it makes sense for some. It depends what the contract is. Like, some people don't take any of that. Like, I'm pretty sure you've got people like Neeb who are on Team Ting, right? And they're just like the most free flowing, like, easy peasy folks there in the universe. There's like no contract stipulations except for like make sure you mention use Ting.
Right. He's a easy breezy. Impact once again getting away with the early pool. This is pretty severe because this is a bigger map than Defender's Landing, and INnoVation's Reaper was all the way across, waiting to snipe a drone building a third. I think it even went, yeah. He didn't even bother scouting the natural. Every other game, he scouted the natural, and as soon as he saw it was a later hatchery, pulled back, so it saves him like 3 seconds. Not this time, so that was about as long as it was without that Reaper. But it was dealt with no problem anyway. It was only 2 lings, not like 6. 6 is that kind of like scary point of like, oh my god, you got all in me on this, and yes, if he even survived. Is Silva gonna die? If Silva dies, I would say this is actually just totally the opposite of what Impact was hoping for. Yep. That sucks. But nice little adaptation for INnoVation. Getting those Marines earlier. Stalls. Doesn't get the stall in his command center. And gets an Overlord.
Well, going into that cloak, the Banshees last game were shut down pretty... I don't know, did they even get any drone kills? It's all the Hellions, I think, right?
Oh, they got 6. I did the math.
Oh, okay.
So it was okay, but 2 Banshees with cloak, that's not, you know, totally worth it. This Overlord will live. You're fine. But yeah, you bring it up, I guess, because there is, once again, Hellion Banshee. It's just INnoVation. Kind of going back. I mean, he played mech after this, okay? Which he's not doing this game. Obviously, Sim's already on the way, but he does change things up. Can be caught just doing the same thing over and over again. More so than some other Terrans we have. You know, like Gumiho.
Oh no! BaseTradeTV reaches into the double bag and finds a bicycle without brakes. That's how I broke my arms.
That's messed up, whoever put that in there. It's like a little messed up, guys.
Alright,
although I guess in your case,
yeah.
it was more like it broke too fast. Right?
Well,
like
either way, bicycle accident was what I was thinking there. The Banshee heads on towards the main, and Impact, I think, should be okay. The Spore Crawler's here, the Queen should be attentive. Like, as long as he's not being silly about this, INnoVation shouldn't be able to get too much. Oh, but the natural base has no Spore Crawler instead of Spire, so the Banshee just gets to sit here and camp out on the drones. Oh, this is bad.
Sometimes I see this and I wonder, what in the world?
I mean, a lot of Queens and an Overseer push this off, but that's 7 kills. This now pulls the Queens out of position to allow the Hellions in. The Lings are on top of this right away, but they're getting fried up by the Hellion Flames. Oh, no. And as he runs forward, the Queens aren't quite here to stop the drones, so this is going to be some drone kills for the Hellions, too.
And that Banshee's parked in the main base away from the Spore Crawler, adding on to these kills.
Denies mining. He has to pull them off as if it's a Liberator.
Oh, God. Second Banshee comes in here and would have been able to get all these... Well, that was a little bit of... no one noticed. No one saw that. That would have been a lot more drone kills, but even as he pulls back, 1 or 2 more go down to this Banshee. It's on hold position. The Hellions lived. That's a mistake.
I was going to say, I think that's supposed to be a mule. But actually, all things considered, where he scanned would have been a misclicked mule, so I'm not sure what that was out of INnoVation.
I've definitely done that before, so I'm just really happy to see INnoVation do it.
Back to the mineral lines. Lings are on top of this, though, and this is not going to get the drone kills that he had earlier, but he still kills a lot of Lings. I mean, for INnoVation, these early game trades have been fantastic so far.
Yeah. 2 Banshee.
Doubling the resources losses.
There you go. 2 Banshee, 4 Hellions, 18 drones, 28 Lings, and 2 Overlords. Definitely a worthwhile opener for INnoVation.
Partridge in a pear tree.
He, as a third CC, already going on location, feeling quite safe with this Marine number. He knows about the fast Spire, and he probably also knows that he's successfully brought it down a peg or two. It's not the easy peasy 10 mutas because you were totally safe in the early game into as fast as you wanted upgrade and banelings. Like, no, he only had 7, now he has 5. And this is not an effective, what I think was, you know, Impact hoping it would be a counter opener, something to take control since INnoVation was pending on Henley and Banshee, ends up just not doing anything at all.
So, funny tweet coming out of one of the Team Liquid staff guys saying Zest doesn't qualify for Code S. Zest beats Code S champion Gumiho in 3-0's Classic. How am I supposed to make sense of this? Welcome to StarCraft, right? Like, where your championships titles don't matter for Jack's squad. Win DreamHack, lose the next weekly go for StarCraft, you know? Like, win Code S, GSL, lose in the Olimoleague. It happens.
Exactly. There are just so many tournaments. There's no way that everyone has, you know, they're the same level of performance when they play literally every single day. In INnoVation's case, does he, like, play a tournament today? Wait a second. Oh, no, this was the tournament. Never mind. I was like, because there's a thread that said
playing one thing every day this week.
Except Wednesday. And they're also assuming that he's going to win versus Leenock on Thursday, but I agree. So that's still pretty cool.
Let's invite him to a show match on Wednesday.
Yeah, right? Like, hey. That is the first foreigner group for GSL is on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, was it a laser I think's playing, right?
Exactly. I'm gonna go swing on down myself, see what's up.
I think a laser will do, like, the thing is, I'm gonna assume no foreigners actually make it out, but I think a laser's got a good chance. He's such a good player. But his group is pretty freaking stacked.
For me, it's always exciting to see a new person in GSL. So we kind of like, you know, Scarlet's already been denied round 16 twice, special once. Laser's brand new, man. What if he's the secret?
Well, I look at it, right, like, Gumiho is probably going to get first in that group. I'm not even going to contest otherwise. But what's funny is a laser I know can beat Keen because he's done it many times in Corsair Cups and otherwise. So it comes down to me is, like, can a laser beat Rogue? And if a laser can beat Rogue, a laser has a chance to get second in that group. But Rogue's pretty freaking good.
Yeah. Like, for the Jin Air guys, you see SOS not do so well. Maro didn't do so well yesterday. And you're like, well, we don't see them that often, and I guess maybe they're not actually as good as we were hoping for. Rogue is not bad. We saw Rogue finally after such a long absence in the IM qualifiers, and he dominated. Yeah.
Rogue is stone cold badass. No doubt about it.
That's going to be the tough one. All right, well, INnoVation's ready to go. He's got a 30 army supply lead, 40 army supply lead. Upgrades finishing up, and as I said, like, he keeps on getting this very consistent, like, fairly quick second factory. He's really playing more to what Heart of the Swarm looks like. This was, like, consistently timed every time. Legacy of the Void made, like, a lot more movement towards staying on 3 base, only bio for the most part. Bio wouldn't mind. INnoVation's bringing it back to the, you know, the Thor mix-in, the Drilling Claws actually being a problem for the Zerg players. I wonder why it was really gone away from for so long. I'm kind of glad to see it back. I always thought this was a more, I don't know how to put it, like, safe composition, because you can reposition your Widow Mines, and that Thor can always try and get a couple of shots. A couple of Banelings, rather.
Well, it also just justifies the armor upgrades for INnoVation a lot more, too. But hold up, this wall gets broken, and Lings get into this mineral line. No defenses at home. He's too busy focused on the front lines. Impact may have caught him on both sides of the map in a bad way.
I don't know. I think that trade might have gone better on the front side for INnoVation. 11 SCVs go down, but his reinforcements do clean this up. His Thor still lives. Okay, that could be saved. Oh, it is saved. INnoVation, you're good. You're good.
For now. Oh, more Widow Mines are scattered just randomly. Each of these can take out more mutas.
Nice. And he still has such a large army. He still has that army supply lead. 2-2 is done. Impact has to wait like 30 more seconds. That was just a little bit blip for INnoVation.
He's also still making Mutalisks right now, which I question a bit. This is Thor's Widow Mines and Marines. This is everything a Mutalisk doesn't want to fight.
All right. INnoVation, by the way, is just going to have such a rally. He's on 4 bases, 66 CVs.
Yeah, I was looking at Impact's 81 drones thinking he was in such a better spot than he is. With that army suffering, we can still see it here. Bailey's getting some okay connects, but the Widow Mines wiping out what's left. Mutalisks are turned around immediately. This looks really bad for Impact.
does. Looks bad for not just this game, but maybe the series too. This would put him down 2-0. There it is.
Ooh. GG. You know, we often discuss how losers pick tends to make for better series that are a lot closer, but you know, Zest with a 3-0 over Classic, Impact now down 0-2. These might be the most one-sided semifinal brackets ever.
A little unfortunate in that case, but oh well. That means the finals would hopefully be really epic. It is going into game number 3. It's on Abyssal. I'm gonna try and squeeze in a break as the lobby is set up. Thanks for watching. Hello everyone, it is game number 3 in this best of 5. In the bottom left, he's down 2-0. It's Impact.
And of course, in the upper left, he's rocking and rolling with a 2-0 lead. It's the Blue Terran INnoVation.
Well,
I gotta say, like, this guy, we know him to be good, and sometimes he shows up and lets us down. Not today. INnoVation with the first series against Sue was fantastic. I want to bring up this point because he has not dropped a single map so far today.
oh yeah, that's a good point. I think he'll do so well against Zest in the finals, to be honest. Like, I'm hoping 2 3-0s in the semifinals means like a 4-3 in the finals. That's always just such a hope. Obviously not going to always be the case. And while Zest was able to take Game Land back from Keen, and it ended up being a 4-3, speaking of, I do think that Keen is just still a couple of tiers slower than INnoVation. Looking forward to it, though. Zest seems to be a bit more informed than he was last month or 2 months ago. But Impact, man. Impact, what is he going to do? He once again goes for... No, okay, he does change it up. Goes for the Hatch gas pool. No early lings. INnoVation obviously deals with it perfectly fine and is even countering it with an additional Marine Marade. Marade? Made.
I mean, sometimes it feel like a raid. Raids are so scary after all.
I wish they were lemonade. I haven't had that in a long time. Now I like exclusively drink sugar-free, like calorie-free lemonade at home, and just I haven't had it.
I was gonna ask, does Korea not have lemonade? Like, is that like, is it like, hey, it's July 4th, the American dream, the lemonade stand on the corner of the street, right? Capitalism.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look when I was at a grocery store. To be honest, the grocery store that I went to wasn't that big anyway. Finding a legitimate grocery store is so weird in Korea. Because when you do find one, like an E-Mart or something, it's typically like 3 stories tall. It's like huge. But there's no like neighborhood Harris Teeter or Giant or Shoppers or whatever. That you just find everything at once. You gotta like go to like the food stall stand that sells only a certain amount of vegetables, because importing vegetables is super hella expensive to Korea. So like if I ever want broccoli, I'm just gonna have to just, you know, cry about it because I ain't getting it. And then anything else is just pre-packaged, it feels like. All the side dishes. That's really one thing I missed last time I was in Korea, and what I'm missing again in Korea is just like, you know, not contaminated vegetables. Don't put oil and like sugar and salt in my vegetables. Just give me like a freaking zucchini and let me eat it.
Oh man, I don't know why that brought me back. Totoro. When they're like eating the cucumber at the start,
anime,
it looks so good. And I like sat there, and I had a cucumber, and I was like, this wasn't what this looked like at all.
Right. I remember.
Oh, here's the Reaper. Oh, that was actually really nice.
Yeah. Maybe some more. I don't think so. Oh, shoots me out. Attempt at a drone pool. There's more Hellions on the way, so I'm like hesitant to say this is over. Lings pop out though, and that should be it. And in fact, INnoVation's not going to try and dive forward here. That makes a lot more sense. So only 2 drones or 2 Hellions, and it is once again Cloak Banshee with Stim on the way. So I was just going to mention that food always looks so good when it's animated.
I know.
Like, ramen looked so delicious because Naruto was like obsessed with it. And the first time I had ramen was like the biggest disappointment in the world.
Oh, I know. Well, it's not just that, but like the way they slurp it. Dragon Ball Z and rice. Like, rice is good, don't get me wrong, but when Goku eats rice, it looks like the best thing you've ever seen in your life.
Exactly. Oh, well. Third base going to be getting up here. It is kind of a faster layer and a Roach Warren. So last game played a Mutilating Bling. Fast Mutas too, but they really did not work out. There's so much chaos caused in the early game that Impact, no matter what he chose, probably wasn't going to do very well. But especially the Mutas unable to do any pressure. Didn't help. Hellion sang with the Lings, not very effectively. They were on creep after all. Okay, well, he survives with 2 of them. Okay, the best of a bad scenario. It's an Overload over here. Overload successfully scouts that it is Bio, Double Engineering Day, all that jazz. Nidus Worm. A little bit of an all-in coming through here.
I like this. Rifkin's a fan of Nidus Worms, as some of you may be aware.
Obviously, he watched the caster tournament.
He's like, oh, it was embarrassing. Please never try and execute that ever again. And I'm like, I'm sorry. No, I think this is a really nice change-up, and the timing of this is going to be pretty gross, because this might just catch INnoVation in between that point of having the army he wants. The third CC is a lot of money that could have been spent on army. Banshees are on this side of the map, so this Nidus Worm goes off without a hitch, and this could be problems. INnoVation scouts it now, of course.
That's pretty important, though. Like, otherwise, he's not searching at all for the Nidus Worm. Now he's going to pre-pull all the units. He is unfortunately building from the factory, but that could also start like a Widow Mines or Cyclones. Transfuses pop out, just barely getting them in the nick of time. Damn, that went down to red.
Oh my god.
And that's just
GG! That was sick. In fact, I love you.
That's how you don't get 3-0'd.
That's also taking a map off the Impervious INnoVation.
Yeah. And flawless up until that point. But it was totally the right call. I mean, he always went third CC. In this series, he always followed up with Bio. So it took some time to get those add-ons. And the units you do have are just not very powerful until they're in higher numbers. And it also just like extra perfect timing because the factory couldn't even make anything. Don't disagree with the immediate tap out, too. I don't think anyone should. He just really had no units.
Yeah, I mean, he if he had killed that Nidus Worm, even if a second one came in, INnoVation may have stuck that out. But the fact that he got so wrecked and, like, Transfuses just denied him, man, like, that was rough.
It was. If that's, like, 5 more Marines or, like, a tank or something that probably kills that Nidus Worm, because it got down to the red. It is INnoVation's map choice. I hope he remembers. Has it chosen anything yet?
This is interesting. So I saw VSL streaming on Team Liquid. I'm like, oh, they've got 3,000 viewers. What's going on? They're streaming PUBG right now.
Oh. Alright.
And I think it's the hosts that are playing. I don't recognize all the people that are playing. But I definitely recognize Reyna.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you had a crush on her.
I got super crush on her, man. I wouldn't actually know what to do if I met her in real life. A, we wouldn't be able to communicate at all, and B, I'd just be like embarrassed.
Exactly.
Although, yo, I bust out the fish story while we were IRL streaming with Nate the other night. Worked out pretty well.
It did? It's effective?
It did. I wonder how... Oh, I gotta learn to translate that to Korean.
You gotta learn how to flirt in Korean.
Damn. I think to flirt in Korean, you just have to have a lot of money, right?
I cannot confirm or deny, I guess. I honestly don't know the dating scene that well.
Actually, what I really hate is... Because I tweeted that clip out just yesterday is the only reason I'm talking about it. What I hate is I look really good in this clip. Like, I feel like I don't look like a fat piece of shit for once. But I know that I am.
Oh. I didn't see the clip. I assume you look good, though. You too hard on yourself?
Thanks, doll. I appreciate it.
No, now I'm confused.
No, but I had a lot of fun IRL streaming while I was in California. I wish we could have done more. I didn't get to do much at the summit too, because I wasn't sure like what we were or weren't allowed to stream there. But even just like that hangout session with Loco and Wax in the bar was Pretty good times. But anyways, we're back in action. It's game number 4. And spawning in the upper right, he's knightist his way onto the scoreboard with 1 point. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Impact.
In the bottom left, still looking strong at 2-1. It is the blue Terran INnoVation.
Okay, so Impact got away with like a Nidus Worm. It's hard to say that that will happen again. But I like the idea behind an all-in against INnoVation instead of a macro game. Because we've just seen that INnoVation's macro, his harass, his multitasking, it's so good, Zombie Grub.
It is pretty good, and it really is not just a product of INnoVation being a fantastic player, but also that he is going for this... I don't want to say greedy. Greedy is like too harsh of a word, because 3cc, Terran, like that's just normal. But it is like, it's supposed to be flawless. It's supposed to be, I have this big gap of production because I'm getting all these upgrades and all these CCs. It's a limited amount of time, but I'm not going to be touched during that time, so I can do it. And Impact finally had something to say about it. It was an all-in, but it worked. Maybe he'll do it again. Maybe he'll just look more towards like harassment and try and mix it up. But INnoVation has not been shy about like losing a game and then just going like, oh hell no, and like doing his own cheese or doing his own all-in. Kind of want to see him do that.
I feel bad for whoever Neil is, but I hate Neil. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub.
Just hate
I guess quick reminder too for everybody to check your Prime subs, as it's about that time where the month is expiring and it does not tell you when it runs out. So be sure to manually reapply your Prime sub if it's available.
Hey. One of my best friends, actually Amazon Prime subbed to me, which is pretty cool. Twitch Prime sub.
Aw.
Yeah.
Good on them.
I know, right? I mean, she probably won't remember to resub, but I thought that counts.
Hey man, for 1 month, that's a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
I have a hard enough time convincing my friends to spend any money. Are you kidding me?
I think I could
Prime
convince...
sub.
Go ahead.
I could not convince anyone I know, I think in real life, to just give me $2.50 for no reason. But I could convince them to waste like $50 at a bar with me, easy peasy. So a Prime sub is pretty nice.
It's so true though, isn't it? No, I was gonna say, like, I think the main problem, and I imagine this is true for other people too, is that family or friends will have, you know, Amazon Prime. It's a pretty useful thing to have. No shilling or anything, it just is actually really good. But then to explain to them to sign up for this new website, first of all, because they're not watching Twitch in the first place, and then like tell them to click this link and then click this link and then click this button, and they're like, it's too many steps. I can't figure it out. That's been my problem. I tell my parents, like my mom's like really excited about getting Amazon Prime. She's never had it before, and I'm like, oh, you should just sub to me, right? Like it's free. Nah, ain't gonna happen. That's also why I had to buy my shirt for her for the caster tournament.
Oh right, yeah.
So.
It's like, this is too difficult. Meanwhile, guys making like 50,000 Rifkin double chin accounts.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a
Come
while.
on, Mom. Come on, Mom.
I'm gonna tell her that next time. Some guy.
Okay. So unfortunately for Proxima Station, there is one entrance only, and it's a pretty easy choke to cover. The likelihood of these Hellions slipping by is low because that queen on the right side could just slip underneath the gas geyser, and INnoVation probably isn't looking to get in here soon. It's also interesting to note that he's gone for the Viking, and I love this. This is very much, I feel like, a reaction to that last game. You're like, you know what? No, Impact. You don't get Overlords at my base this game.
Yeah, it's a good thing he has a mix-up of builds, though, because he was originally, it looked like, going for Hellion Banshee. You know, he had Cloak even start for a second, I think. Obviously, a Tech Lab's not needed for the things he built already. Because Impact went for the fastest Spire you can ever really get. Like, he skipped speed to get Lair, and the Spire is already, like, 3/4 of the way done. The third base is not scouted. The lack of third base, rather. Not going to be scouted by INnoVation, who definitely thinks he has time to scout, and is probably depending on this Liberator. That's the Viking. This Liberator to do his scouting for him, and that's going to take a long time. It's going to die to the Mutas. That's going to be the scout.
Well, the Hellions actually do slip in, but not for long. Spinecrawler and 3 Queens is more than enough to push that off.
He did see the slow lings, which is suspicious, but that could just mean, you know, Impact's going for roaches. You don't often skip Link speed in this matchup, even if you are going for roaches.
But actually funny, if this scan will see it.
He sees that it kicks in, so I don't know what that confirms or tells him.
Tells him the Impact's not being a dummy for one.
Well, I guess that's true, but there is the confirmation on the mutas. If he was suspicious, there it is. Also, it's not that bad to be totally, like, if these were in the mineral line as a surprise, that's bad. But to lose the Hellions, but it gives you that time, the Blister, like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, he slapped the turrets down immediately, and that should just barely give him enough time to get these up. It might be a little bit of, like, spamming the control to get it built, but Marines will buy the time for this turret. This works out well. This isn't so bad.
Good thing, too.
Kills one of the mutas.
That was an even number of Marines, even number of mutas. That could have been problems.
Well, so thank you for bringing the camera over this way, because this was a problem made by the mutas getting aggressive. There's not really a lot to easily shut down said Liberator, so this is kind of annoying. It will be pushed back here, but this is something the mutas could have easily dealt with as well. But man, I do want to also bring attention to that timing, like how literally down to the second it was that he got the turret up and finished on all 3 locations. That scout from the Hellions was so exactly the timing he needed.
Yeah, it was. And that one on his production also gave, I think he would have eventually had enough Marines. There wasn't the Ling flood that followed it because there was a wall and there weren't that many more mutas on the way. But it still would have been 1 or 2 rounds of production getting taken out because their mutas were just barely in enough of a number. This turret definitely helped. Very smart play by INnoVation, who now, having taken really no damage from the mutas, is confident to push in here. By going for such fast mutas, you know, obviously speed isn't a factor anymore. That's done, but you definitely delay your upgrades, and maybe even your Bailing is a little too long. Obviously, Bailing speed, not going to be a factor for quite some time. He really wants to do damage with this. I think he could actually clear up quite a bit of creep. Scans, he's 2 Bailings making. A little scared of what could possibly be coming down from the main. Does not go for the creep cleanup. Okay, well now he does after the scan's done. Take out that Spine Crawler, you can sight the Banelings. Misclicks, actually. He didn't get the other one. Managed to get one Widow Mine shot off, but that ended up being a little more awkward than I think INnoVation was really hoping for. And now he's going to lose the Medivacs, and that was not so bad for Impact. He holds a very limited number of Banelings. This counter is surprisingly scary too, just because the barracks, the additional barracks, they aren't even done. They only just started. There really isn't a lot of Marine production.
Production, I didn't expect to be an issue for INnoVation, who is like macro king, right?
Yeah. They get a Kitty and Echo for the 33-month resub, and Runamok for the 8-month resub.
And that's a tier 2 sub coming out of Kitty as well, so double shutout.
Nice. Oh, and I think we had a new sub with Patu. Thanks very much.
Actually, do we get everybody? Because this is ZTAP, Cool Team, the Paleo Gamer.
Probably
a lot
not.
of people got reminded about their primary subs and hit us up with some awesome generosity. Thank you, guys. Mutas continue to harass and actually kill one of the refineries. If only that was in a simulator.
Yeah. Then it'd be fine.
Actually, the one thing I think I envy most about protest buildings is not the health or the shields, it's the fact that they just don't burn down when they get low. Terran buildings are seriously like the definition of friendly fire at a point.
That's so weird though, because in Brood War they were on fire. They were on blue fire, but they were on fire, and they didn't burn down.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of fire effects for protests. I was convinced for years playing Brood War that when Zealots died, they did like area of effect around them because they burst into flames.
Oh yeah. I don't blame you for thinking that. This is like one of the few times I've ever seen these rocks broken down, and it's like not because there's an all-in. This is just mid-late game harassment.
Also, to note, like, the mutas are being so distracting. INnoVation doesn't have a depot there. There's no reason for him to think those rocks are going down, and because he's looking somewhere else, like, this could be a problem for him later.
Yeah. I can't emphasize enough how much that pushback over here with those Marines helped Impact. He is still going to be behind in upgrades, as is the case with such a fast Spire build, but, you know, he didn't lose any creep because that scan didn't actually do anything, and he gained so much momentum that his muta count got up to that point that it does start to really threaten mineral lines, structures, entire Marine groups. Gets cut down a little bit right there, 2 Widow Mines, but luckily it wasn't 4.
Hey, speaking of 4, it's the 4th of July. Happy birthday, America.
Thanks.
I'm really sad. I actually really had intended to go full on dollar store, grab some flags and stuff, but story in a moment. Attack comes in. Impact's ready to pounce, and INnoVation's just got nothing to fight with. Where's that 91 army supply? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's there, and he rolls into a ton of Widow Mines. I'm surprised Impact felt so confident to do that. I guess maybe he thought they were on the front lines mistakenly. They were not.
Oh, but you know what? Impact broke down those back rocks, and INnoVation never found out about it. So these Lings now segmented off to the left. That could get some good damage here on the back end.
I was like, where are these drones going down? He did manage to squeeze a Widow Mine and Marine drop into both bases. These are going to be cleaned up, though, but 9 drones isn't too bad. Plus, I think it stalled out Impact's attack that you're just talking about, so he hasn't thought about it quite yet. There's the cleanup. A couple Widow Mines just walking forward. Just walking forward. That was a mistake.
All right, that's clean, Miss Valley. Here we go into the natural base. Only Production's going to be out to defend it. I actually don't love that he split his Lings. All things considered, we're late enough in the game. There's not going to be a lot of SCVs in the main to pick off. He attacks on the front lines just to eat some Widow Mines pretty badly in the face. Getting off a creep now, too. He extends a little too far.
He does have backup Banelings, though, and that creep is going to take a little while to disappear, so I think he's going to be able to clean this up. There's so many mutas as well, even with that Thor. And try and pick up and leave while he can. There's so many medevacs, maybe he just will be able to, but 16 SCVs went down. He's always going to have to worry about the back rocks, too. Lack of back rocks. And Impact, once again, just momentum shifts. Looking quite good. 30 up on the army supply.
Yeah, those backup Banelings worked out nice.
Indeed.
Bub.
He is on his way to Hive, by the way. He's on 5 bases, being the gold over here. 3-3. Of course, Terran getting there faster makes a lot of sense. Just the way the game's played. This is a planetary, but no missile turrets. Oh my god, all those mules. Oh.
Well,
Okay.
that's also so many mules that he might not be able to efficiently mine off that base because of all the mules.
Right? And Lings once again get into the back. I mean, he didn't even bother putting his SCVs back in the mining over there. 9 more go down. INnoVation's really hurting.
No wall off. I mean, it wouldn't take much to put a couple depots down, but he's going to lose the armor upgrades. He's got to try to keep that alive.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing INnoVation's really had going for him here is his upgrades have been massively ahead of that of Impact, so getting that 3-3 done is huge. That's going to make the fight versus the mutas very, very different.
Well, INnoVation has been pushed back in supply and pushed back away from Impact for so long that he might just have to wait to be maxed out, which I think is an okay scenario because he isn't being drowned out so much in supply. Impact's not quite maxed out yet. He's trying to transition currently. That on 4 bases, even though he's lost so much economy, I think he could get maxed out. Very good army. Even, as the Ultras Caverns probably finishes chitinous plating, there's definitely a timing here. That's an unfortunate medevac. He scouted for Lings that were hiding, but that had yet to be hidden. What? Okay. Either way, I guess. There are... This is a body bow, that's why. Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, the mutas still get in, though. This is the problem. Now, 3-3 did finish up, so losing the engineering bay, hardly devastating.
Right. Needs to keep one alive. Missile turrets aren't going to really help out too much against 16 mutas, but I think the option should still be there. And maybe building armor if the game goes on for a very long time. These missile turrets are taken out, like I was saying, just you can't hold up against that many mutas very long. Medevac's can be taken out too. Nice control.
If he had the money, I would love to see building armor, but those Thors get some really good shots in.
Yeah, 26 mutas overall loss, but setting him down to 8. That's still enough to help deal with medevac, so it's still an okay number, and he is already transitioning over into the late game, so I think he's okay that they died, but yeah, that was just him, not realizing INnoVation was getting this around. Filling that supply with not just Ultras, but also well-upgraded Ultras. Chitinous plating is going to finish up, it looks like. 3-3 adrenal glands. And INnoVation, his response to Ultras is basically just having a bigger army, which can work. It's not as good as, like, Liberators or Mass Marauder. INnoVation's been doing a good job about rallying to his choke, by the way, so that if this ever did try and happen, he'd be ready for it. Deals the Lings, no problem. This was time bought for Impact to get tons more Banelings as well as finishing all those upgrades, though, so I think he's okay with how that went down. This is the main floating over. I like the position he's taking with it a lot, though. This is still somewhat, protectable by his Bioforce as it pushes and also defend. And
if he gets a couple turrets up, too, it's a closer point to fall back to against something like the mutas, but Mutas aren't a problem anymore. It's the Ultras and its Banelings.
Yeah. You know, INnoVation was up 30 army supply, but it just wasn't very efficient.
Oh, God. Oh, he's popping off.
If you get rid of the Banelings, you could definitely kite down the Lings and the Ultras.
Yeah, actually, while he was fighting on creep, that went really well for impact. But the second impact got off of creep, we saw how started to fall apart for him. As I also start to fall apart with my words here. So, I really like that impact's not just making ultras. He knows the importance of the Lings and the Banelings, but ooh, getting off of creep once again, it's a little bit risky.
I just don't think there's sufficient enough army for INnoVation.
Oh God, you're right. It's all Marines. There's no Marauders.
Yeah, if this was 16, 17 Marauders, he probably is just kiting them down to death.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, normally this is like 25 Marauders at this point. 7 being produced at a time or something like that, but he's still producing 1 Marauder at a time. Not a planetary, loses the new base, loses that income, so no chance to make said Marauders.
Yeah. In the blink of an eye, INnoVation, who was trying to adapt to the Ultras, is cut down. And you see, like, still not producing that many Marauders and no second starport, can't produce that many Liberators. I think he's just going to get beat out army composition-wise. Impacts, making more Banelings, mostly Ultras here. It's looking a lot better than INnoVation's.
Wow. Impact ties it up and makes it a series as we go to the ace match.
Yeah. First game 5 of the day. And maybe Impact can actually take down the monster. The beast of INnoVation. That was a macro game. Sure, it started off with a very fast Spire, but it was a macro game. It's very nicely done. Impact finally showing, I guess, why he's the VSL champion. I love seeing his meter control again. At one point, I think his meter control was up there back when he was...
Well, yeah, he was Mr. 2-base.
Yeah, back when he was even, like, you know, winning... He won a DreamHack. I feel like it's always forgotten, but...
I forgot that, too.
Yeah. But anyways, it's good to see him back in form, so... First game 5 of the day, also going to be the first second break in a series. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hey guys, we're already into the game and something sneaky is happening, so let's get the intros out of the way. In the bottom left, it is INnoVation.
Yeah, I mean, it's across the map too. Top right, his opponent, we're in game number 5 and things are about to get dicey for him. It's Impact.
You know, I brought this up on Proxima, that sometimes INnoVation loses a game and just like, oh hell no, like I'm going to show you what's up. Either just like dominates in a macro game, slaps him down, or does a cheese, does an all-in build. He has it in him. He is not just the macro robot that he has been labeled as. So I'm kind of happy to see him do this. I didn't expect it on Sequencer, but I also kind of forgot that, we didn't mention it yet today, that Olimoleague only 5 maps. No Blood Boil and no, like Ascension or something? I forget which one is the other one.
Well, either way,
Anyways.
the fact that this is proxied is very different. We've discussed a lot how a lot of these players, especially on Sequencer, you're going for the 3 racks the 3 racks build back at home, and it plugs up your natural wall. You build a command center comfortably behind it. You know the drill.
Yeah. Right, yeah. This seems to be the most popular version of a proxy we have for Terrans nowadays, especially the Korean Terrans. Beyond did this, Gumi did this, and now INnoVation is doing it. And it has been effective almost every single time I've seen it happen, I think. Yeah, it's gotten the... Oh, actually, you know what? There is a game that is maybe similar to this one. A little dissimilar. The point is, like, if this is a hatch first, it's done by the time it's scouted, and you just kill it. You just get a straight-up kill. But if it's a pool first, they already have the option for Lings. They're going to scout that it's a bunker, and they're going to be able to cancel a hatchery and save a lot of money.
Hopefully, because if he doesn't, he's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if INnoVation's going to try and over-dedicate to the main, he could try and hold the natural, but that's, like, kind of risky. Hey, this is in the map pool.
Oh. Well, that's going to be awkward.
I actually was like, I was talking about it, right? And I was like, well, we did Abyssal, we did Ascension, we did Odyssey, and those are the other maps that I'm pretty sure, like, they had about 3.
The reason this is an issue is because Olivia, aka Olimoleague, strict about this stuff. Strict but fair, right? And 1 maps have just been completely discounted. They'll have to play a different map and replay this. So, I would hope and imagine Crank would have intervened here, but I guess we're just going to let this play out because it's not going to count, guys.
There we go. I guess he was talking to Olivia. Super awkward. It's not very often that every single caster and the semifinals is caught like this. It's
Ooh.
usually like a best of 3 that
But
only we are casting.
I feel like the person most affected by this is INnoVation, though. He gets totally screwed by revealing a proxy build.
Yeah, and it's like especially bad because we were talking about why this could be like good for impact. He cancels the hatchery. He didn't. He tried to save it, and that would have been like a terrible game for him. But that's what we've always done. There was literally a series where Kelzer and Scarlet played 2 maps out of the map pool, both, and those all were void. This stuff is strict. Especially for INnoVation. Thank you to Zengi Wastakin. Okay. The Twitch Prime
Yeah,
sub.
there's a good confirmation. Yikes! So that is awkward. That is horribly uncomfortably awkward. But as we were kind of explaining in the chat, like you mentioned the Scarlet Kelzer game obviously was probably the most notorious, but there's been other ones too where Journey won a game and then had to like completely shut it down and restart. Like
that was back in Catalina, very specifically.
Yeah. Man, I'm sad. What happened to Journey? That was another guy who like just disappeared, right? I don't remember hearing much about him going away.
Out. The other guys that were getting popular, I think they actually like made it public that they just weren't playing anymore, and Journey never really publicly said this or that. So the last map. So this is also like it's so especially weird that the last map in a semifinal of the finals, like everything is against this happening in this case. Because it's also, like, the last game. Like, there's only 1 map left over, and that should have been, you know, that should have been easily made instead of INnoVation maybe told him it was Sequencer? I don't know.
So, I mean, here's my problem. I actually voiced this to Olimoleague at the start of the season. I think not including Sequencer was a mistake. I think it's one of the better maps in the map pool, but that was, of course, you know, whatever, her decision, and she's fine, and I've got no problems sticking by it. But I think that's why this didn't get detected, though. Blood Boil is objectively a weird and kind of dumb map, so it makes sense that it was cut from the map pool. Sequencer isn't, though, so it's kind of like you go to make this map and everybody checks out as normal because it is a normal map.
Even weirder on top of all of this, so everyone thinks the Defender's Landing would be the other one, I guess, cut. Crank was literally the one that said Sequencer should be cut back when he was like testing out the map pool, so it's like everything was against this ever happening. I kind of find it funny at this point. I'm sure INnoVation does not, though.
Oh, he just got robbed of like what was almost a sure victory.
Oh boy. But yeah, Odyssey is actually the last map. I don't know what happened, to be honest. I knew they were speaking to each other, so I was wondering what's taking so long, but I don't know. That's funny. It's funny for the spectators. Frustrating for the INnoVation fans.
We get into game number 5, the real game number 5, and in the bottom right, it's going to be the Red Zerg player, Impact.
Well, okay. In the top left, as the Blue Terran, it is INnoVation, and he's like, can't 2 racks? 3 racks.
Okay, so to note as well, by the way, for those who might just, because I don't know if Joey will cut that last game from the VOD or not, but for YouTube's sake, and for those who watch the VOD later, there was a game made before this. INnoVation should have won what was quote-unquote game number 5. He was doing really well. It was a proxy, and then turns out the map wasn't in the map pool, so we did have to cut the game. It didn't count and remake it to this one. So I'm sure INnoVation's not feeling super happy about it, but this build, the way he does this at home, it's safe. This isn't like a big all-in that's gross and disgusting.
Yeah. We have Impact once again going for an early pool. I think he's only played 1 game where he didn't do this. And that is going to be able to at least get that queen out faster, so the snowball effect, the initial snowball effect, shouldn't actually happen. But it's usually more about the 6, 7, 8 Reapers than the first 2 or 3. And he still has to scout this. You know, it's a big map. Overlord will eventually see the 3 racks. It'll more likely see 2 Reapers first, but yeah, still a ways off. Barracks, 3rd barracks made in the main, so we'll safely add on a tech lab whenever it decides to. Most Koreans do just go for like 9 Reapers and then macro up.
Sorry, I went to see if I could run to the bathroom real quick, but you finished talking before I got back. 9's a good point to bring up because I think the one time we saw a not 9 was like 10. It was like a mistake out of beyond, maybe I want to say. But yeah, 9's the general stick to it number because if you go too much more than that, you don't have the gas to start transitioning out of it.
Yeah. A little bit awkward if the Reaper didn't see the Lings. So raise that deeper.
Well, still 2 lings. So no, yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna say it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
It's not a problem at all. It was funny. They both went the same path. So yeah. Confirm with the second Reaper with those Lings. Now the Overlord seeing the multiple barracks, blah, blah, blah. How's he going to defend it? He is going to add on an Evolution Chamber. He might just be preempting that it is going to go in a macro game, so he's getting ready for like +1 Carapace really quick, or +1 melee, but this feels too quick for even that. This feels like he's going to try and do an Overlord drop, which he has 1 or 2 in position. The Queen's gonna try and take care of the main base. It is an Odyssey, and there is that little hop-up spots, but it is so far away from the natural that the other great Reaper maps of past map pools, they had a couple things in common. Either a large amount of space to jump up on, or 2 spots to jump up on that were right next to each other. To really just get the Zerg in the wrong position. Not so much in the new map pool. The Lings go aggressively out to the Reapers, and no, it was for that Carapace. It felt so fast. And the Overlord seemed to be in such good position that just preempting the macro follow-up that does happen almost every time.
I mean, we've hypothesized about the cool benefits that Carapace brings, but to rush it never seems worth it.
Yeah, it's, yeah. I think it's actually becoming a lot more popular. We didn't see it this series, really, but I feel like I see more and more Zergs just go for a single upgrade.
So some discussions being brought up. Do we play in Defender's Landing for the first map?
That is in the map pool.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I originally went to that wasn't, and I was like, no, that definitely is.
Right, Blood Boil and Sequencer are the 2, so we're good, we're Gucci, okay? I was like, had a moment where I'm like, wait, is this guy right?
Nah. That's also like pre-chosen by the admins. That just would have been crazy. Well, speaking of crazy, these Reapers, they weren't really taken out in the middle of the map, so they came back with a vengeance. So many of them weak, though, they don't want to tangle with the Queens.
I mean, they probably could if he really wanted to be risky, but I like that he plays it a bit safer. Because he already killed a lot of the Lings. He knows there's not going to be that many more, even on the next round. And the fact that Impact has to commit to 20 more Lings is kind of insane.
Yeah.
Now, it is worth noting that Carapace will help reduce the Reaper auto-attack damage fairly significantly, but the grenades will still deal the same amount of damage regardless.
Right. Thank you to Battle Dragon for the 8-month resub. Woohoo. Woohoo.
Woohoo.
INnoVation adds on a 3rd CC. Double Engineering Bay now making his way up to that factory, so the true macro follow-up. Some players do like to play the 2 base a little bit longer. Get to more immediate medevac follow-up, more immediate medevac pressure. INnoVation, no. 3rd CC first.
Oh god, Queen got slaughtered.
Yeah. INnoVation did go up to 10 Reapers, by the way. 12 in total, he lost 2. Sneaky.
I don't actually think it was so bad. Like, his quote-unquote commitment to this was worth it just already with the amount of damage he's done, but as we can see here, actually, some notable damage reduction through the Carapace upgrade is helping Impact, but still, it's not about the Reapers anymore. They already did their job. They already got the damage, and they got out, and now it's about just that follow-up. And what I love by keeping these Reapers alive is you don't really need to medevac them around, well, unless you're Gumiho. You don't really need to medevac them around because they always just hop up to the main while you push the 3rd type thing. So he's going to have another attack with them later, and I love that he pulled them back home.
Yeah. 3rd CC being put down on location. There's enough Marines to tango with most of the Lings on the map. If they're in position, Lings are heading right for that 3rd base, hoping to catch an SCV transfer. They weren't entirely wrong by it either. Overlord confirms that, but there aren't any SCVs quite yet, so it would not be totally worth. And a new Twitch Prime sub, they get a green turtle 23. And there is that
Yo,
Ling
Ninja
attack.
Turtles are green.
Those turtles are greenish. Pretty important-ish. This attack is without medevacs, to note. It's also on... I mean, it's not like the medevacs are just barely pairing up with this. Like, this was way before the medevacs were ready to go. It's also before combat shields and 1-1. Going for the surprise factor more than the presence, and it is cleaned up, so I don't know if that was really worth. You know, if the Overlord
questions about that.
hadn't been there, that might have been. It's a very low Marine count. You know, before he had enough, certainly, to deal with everything, but now it's a little more questionable. And his third CC, that was pretty flawlessly put down on location initially, is actually quite delayed. 2 lifts, the SCV that was there died, still no transfer of SCVs. And these Marines, as I was saying, a little bit dangerously low on the count, but at least they have their upgrades now.
Still, though, at the end of the day, it's combination mineral lines and just like positioning for the Marines. There's no way for him to get in here.
Yeah. Impacting the 4th base, the golds, as is, I say, usual ZvT. Group spread starting a little bit here. Impact to go for the single evolution chamber upgrade, so he has 1-1, but clearly going to be behind on the +2 attack. As I was saying, I think that more and more Zergs are playing to this, though. It doesn't seem to be too much of a detriment to have 1 less upgrade. 2 less upgrades, sure, that can be pretty big. 1 less, at least the Lings still survive long. The pressure will be from INnoVation's 3rd to Impact's 4th. This little line of attack. And that means Impact will really be pushing this counterattack path, I think. That's why he cleans up the Zelnaga, and his Ling run-bys have been so effective in some of these past games. He's got to be doing it, always on his mind. Funnily enough, just go straight to the middle. The one place INnoVation wasn't expecting.
Yeah, he actually had everywhere else covered pretty nicely. Now, he does push simultaneously, so it's not just that he's taking some Ling damage. Unfortunately, though, because he is forced to pay attention in too many spots, he's got to pull away from that.
Yeah. The mutas are chasing the medevacs down, however, so he needs to use some terrain here, but there's not enough. He's going to lose one of the medevacs, but maybe have an entire one live. That could not... That's not so bad if that does. 9 SCs went down, not that bad. And Impact is looking to work with this momentum. He's on 80 drones, 1's a gold base, and he is on the INnoVation side of the map. Oh, God. Oh, go to my dad before I get the shot off. Okay, cool. Still dealt with. It was off creep, and there was a lot of Marines. That might have been a little too aggressive from Impact. Fifth base now on the way. +1 flyer attack was invested into. He does save all of his mutas, I think, so 12, not a bad number. This supply depot wall, great against Ling counters, not so great against mutas, and there's no missile turret. Ah.
Oh boy.
His barracks even hurting his, like, Marine reinforcements to this location. Oh, he's so deep on a creep. At least the Wood Mines are already burrowed. Gets a great shot.
Yes, he does.
But can he really push this far in a creep consistently? The rest of the Banelings going down. His Impact, has he run out of Lings and Banelings? So this really be how INnoVation wins the game?
Let's not forget, it wouldn't be the game, it would be the series on top of this, but Impact's really been pushed to a corner very, very literally. Folks fighting down the Banelings to come in. He's a little bit late to that pickup, though. Loses the majority of the Marines. Now medevacs start falling. He's going to have to get out of there.
I thought for sure he was going to focus down that one Baneling, but maybe distracted by all the mutas. They did kill 14 SCVs and some reinforcements. I think with the mutas, this might be enough. You know, there's really not that many Marines, and the glaive worm's very effective at this point. Oh, maybe not. They're cut down to 8. INnoVation not rebuilding his SCVs, putting everything he possibly can into his Marine and medevac production. He hasn't even gotten these hotkeyed or reactored.
Well, coming in for the next round of attack. It's an even army supply and pretty even upgrades, too. Everyone's looking for that splash damage.
Yeah. Good thing the creep spread was finally taken out a little bit. But Impact rolling forward. This is a pretty scary army. He's going to be able to take out the medevacs if the Marines ever all die, but they're just not quite getting low enough that the mutas can take them on. Oh, that Baneling hit. INnoVation's going to have to regroup. A Ling attack actually gets through that natural and is going to just disrupt, once again, the reinforcements, probably most importantly, as well as kill SCVs. INnoVation has lost his steam, I believe. And Impact did not take enough damage. That's it. GG.
Wow. Impact going to the finals. Very freaking nicely done.
Started off the series down 2-0. A very convincing 2-0 by INnoVation. That wasn't just like 5 close games. That was
this looked like Impact was out. He was dead on arrival.
Yeah, into 3 close games. But kudos to Impact. I said I was looking. I'm always looking to that guy, seeing if he really like if that VSL win meant more than just. I don't know. I would say like VSL at this point, still third tier. GSL, SSL, VSL. Did it mean anything or didn't it? And that was awfully convincing. Unfortunate for INnoVation, who I think everyone agrees had a very good position in the original Game 5. But that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how the map pool is designed. And that's going to send us into a best-of-7 finals. That means that there will be 2 maps replayed if it does need to be played.
Oh, yeah.
And it is
Kind of forgot that's how that worked.
Versus Impact. I don't know what the first map is going to be, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. And we'll be back in 2 minutes.